The lasting image, the lasting scene that we have of Yosef and his brothers in the Torah, in Parshas Vayechi, is filled with drama, as was the first encounter that we ever experienced with Yosef and his brothers in Parshas Vayeshev. It ends after Yaakov dies, and the brothers come in front of Yosef, and they are scared. They're scared that Yosef is going to take retribution for selling him, for sending him down to Mitzrayim, for tormenting him, and they end up lying and saying that Yaakov commanded Yosef to forgive them. What is Yosef's response when he hears this from them? The Torah says that before he responded verbally, he responded emotionally. Vayevk Yosef b'dabram elov. Yosef cried when he spoke to them. And so the Beis Yisrael Zatzal asks, why did he cry? What were these tears about? And he explains the connection to the Gemara in Yoma, famous Gemara that tells us that on the night of Yom Kippur, as they were preparing the Kohen Gadol for his very great task in the morning to perform the avoda, the service of the Kohen Gadol in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the only time during the year that any human being would go into the Holy of Holies and absolute perfection was needed, the Chachamim were worried, they were concerned that maybe this Kohen Gadol in secret was not who he presented himself to be. Maybe he wouldn't follow the directive of the Chachamim and perform the Avodah like the Prushim, but instead like the Tzdukim. Maybe he was a hidden heretic. So there was a practice in which the Chachamim would come in and they would say to the Kohen Gadol, this is how you're supposed to do everything, and we need you to take a Shavuah, we need you to swear that you're going to do everything according to how you have been taught to do it, and you are not going to do anything differently. And he would swear. And then they would cry. And then he would cry. They cried because they had no choice, but they had to be choshed him. They had to be concerned if he was really truthful or not. And he cried because they were choshed him. Because they had no choice, but they had to suspect him. And so the Beis Yisrael says that when it came to Yosef, Yosef ends up crying here, and he did an awful lot of crying in the last couple of parshas. He ended up crying here because even after everything that transpired, even all that he did for his brothers, after all of the drama of his life, they were still part of his brothers that would go to the length to lie because they suspected that Yosef would take retribution, he would take revenge upon them. And Yosef says, that's not who I am. Often in life, relationships are complicated. And sometimes we trust some people more than we trust other people. Sometimes we lose trust in certain people that we had trust in. And sometimes people surprise us and allow us to trust them, even though it's been difficult to trust them in the past. The story of Yosef and his brothers is that it has an impact on both the person who suspects the other person and the person who is suspected. Let us be zoche, let us merit to learn from the story of Yosef and his brothers and to try to be as emistic, as honest as we possibly can be with each other, with our emotions, with our connections with other people, so that we can really feel a sense of comfort in trusting them and in them trusting us. Let all of the tears be put aside and let us feel a sense of closeness and connection with each other. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.